Hello, tarot friends. This is going to be June's wrap up. We are at July 1st right now, so happy Canada Day to my fellow Canadian content creators. It is finally a nice day outside, so thankfully, yesterday I already filmed my practice information and decks that I purchased over the month of June. So that was already filmed yesterday when it was slightly cloudy. So I get to enjoy today, but I do want to film this part right now because if I don't, then I don't have time until next weekend and I just want to get it posted. So I've got my bathing suit on underneath. We have pool hair. We've got all kinds of things going on. So I'm taking a break from the sun right now. So I thought I would film June's video, and I am going to talk about my tarot practice, which is something that I don't normally do, not for any particular reason, probably just because it's so sporadic and not really predictable, and sometimes there's months where my practice is almost non-existent. So this month it did exist, so I am going to put that little clip in there to talk about what decks I used this month, what pairings I used, and the tarot challenge I participated in for the month of June. So that's going to be in there. Check the chapters for that one. But I also thought that since it was June, I would do kind of like a midway check-in to see, kind of like an accountability check to see how I'm holding up with the things that I started off doing at the beginning of the year. So that'll be in here as well. And first we're going to start with memories, and there's a couple. My town, city, I guess we're technically a city, has a annual peony festival. So I went to this 3 times in the month of June. The first time I went, it was just kind of like sprinkling rain, which was perfect because it wasn't that busy. And then the next 2 times I went was just on my break or my lunch at work because it's within walking distance of my work. So very thankful and very lucky to have the ability to do that. So I took some friends and we headed over. And it was just a nice walk, and it's just so beautiful. The grounds are well kept, and the flowers are, of course, stunning. So I headed there 3 times in the month of June, and I love it. I always go every year. We check it out, and I usually go multiple times because it is so close to my work. So that was really pretty and really enjoyable, and love checking out the flowers. Another kind of like memory, which ties into my monthly card. So this also kind of ties into something I started back in January. I pulled a Thoth card for every month for the whole year. And I mentioned this in my January video, I believe, where in the past when I've done things like this, I forget about it. And so I put it in my phone. I put a reminder on the 1st of the month to say what that card is for that whole month. And then at the end of the month, 2 to 3 days before the month ends, I put another reminder in my phone for that same card just to kind of get the mental juices flowing and see if that was an accurate reflection of what happened that month. And for the month of June, the card that was pulled was the Chariot, the Thoth Chariot card. So I didn't really think too much of it. It was kind of there. I was like, oh yeah, it's the Chariot month. But then something happened this month. I bought a car. My lease was up, so I had to buy my new car, and I not only bought it, but I received it. Normally I have to order it. It's not a vehicle that's on the lot, especially the last few years with COVID and everything. So yeah, I purchased the car and I got the car. And it wasn't until after, it was probably like 2 or 3 days ago when I got the reminder on my phone. I was like, oh my gosh, my card for the month of June was the Chariot. My lease isn't up until September, which is why I went in the month of June, because I thought I would have to wait for my vehicle, but turns out I didn't. I had to wait like 2 weeks. So all of that happened in the month of June. And I was like, that's hilarious. The Chariot, I mean, it's forward movement. It's picking a direction. It's a powerful, intentional movement, but it's also a chariot. So I thought that was funny. So that's something that I have been kind of keeping up. There was a couple months where I was like, yeah, I didn't really get that vibe from that month, but this was one of those months where it was like, you did that. Another practice that I've been doing and sticking to is is my celestial journal from Saint Soleil. I have been fairly religious with this bad boy. So every week there's a weekly reflection and a weekly projection for the week going forward. And every month there's a monthly reflection and a monthly projection, again, going forward. And then there's ritual spaces for new and full moons and all the Sabbats. So I've stuck with all of those except for 2 weeks where I missed the weekly reflection and the weekly projection. I have no idea how that happened. I honestly cannot tell you how I missed those weeks. Like, I thought I was doing good, and then it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't do the weekly reflection for those couple of weeks. So I honestly don't know what happened there. I don't know how I missed those 2 weeks. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I don't feel like doing it. I usually do it Sunday nights. One of the weeks that I missed was my vacation when I went to Tucson, and I left Monday morning at 2:15 a.m. And I swear I did my weekly reflection and weekly projection, but I don't know. I missed it. And then another one was just like a random week that I missed. But other than that, I've been keeping up with this, and it is something that I do think I will purchase again next year. I've really been enjoying it, and I've really been enjoying keeping track of all the astrological happenings in the sky, because it explains everything that's going on in the sky. So this was a worth it purchase for me. So that is something I've been sticking to. The other thing I started in January was my Venus in Transit journal. This is Venus in Gemini. And that was the last one I did. I put a little tip out in here, whatever you call that. But as you can see, I didn't do that part. And I didn't do the one in June, the Venus transit in June. Was it Venus in Cancer? I can't remember. I don't even know. So this one is I have fallen off with this one a little bit, but it's one you can pick up, get back into, whatever. So there's that. The other thing I've been sticking to is my tarot wrapped spreadsheet. I've been extremely religious about the tarot wrapped spreadsheet, which I'm looking at right now. I don't want to give too much away because I do kind of want to keep it as a surprise for the end of the year, so we can all be surprised together. Well, I will know, but you guys won't. What my most pulled cards are, what most pulled suit. So I can tell you, I think in May some cards started to reach double digits. I've pulled a total of 437 cards for myself throughout the year. And this is just me. These are just readings for myself. I am not including readings for other people in this spreadsheet. It's just my spreadsheet, just my cards. So I've pulled 437 cards for myself. And like I said, there's 2 major arcana that are in the double digits, and 1, 2, 3 minor arcana that are in the double digits. And right now there's no tie for first place for the major and the minor arcana first place are the same number, but at least we don't have multiple major with the same number, the same highest number anyway, and multiple minor arcana with the same highest number. So the card that I've pulled the most for the minor arcana is a bit of a surprise. I'm not sure that it reflects my year as a whole, so that's interesting. Same with the highest pulled major arcana. In the beginning of the year, I felt it reflected my headspace and what was going on in my life, but not so much right now. So that's interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how the rest of the year plays out with that. There is, however, one card that I have not pulled once for the entire year. It just baffles me that out of 437 cards pulled, I have not managed to pull this card once. And every time I do a reading for myself, I'm like, is this the reading? Is this the time it's going to come up? And it still has not come up. And I went through that whole tarot challenge for the month of June, and I thought for sure it would come up at some point. Never did. And I pulled over 100 cards for myself in the month of June. Never came up. So that's interesting. And I haven't really been reading Lenormand, so those numbers are very minimal. And I have been keeping track of all the decks that I'm using, and I think it'll be really interesting to see which decks I don't even touch this year and how I think that will reflect my use of those decks going forward. Like, will they go in purgatory, etc.? So that has been I love filling out this spreadsheet. I love seeing the numbers change. I love seeing the stats and knowing which cards I've pulled the most. And I'm really looking forward to how this is going to turn out at the end of the year. I really had fun with the last one, the one from last year. And yeah, I'm having a good time. I'm having a great time with the spreadsheet. Again, the decks that I use are only decks that I've used for myself. So there are some decks that I've used for my friends that I haven't used for myself. So those ones are getting coated with a different color in the cell just so that I know that I did use them, but didn't use them on myself. So I won't put them in purgatory. So that's the tarot wrapped spreadsheet. And that's been something I've been maintaining for 2024 so far. And I don't see myself stopping that because I really have been enjoying it, like I said. So now let's head into the part that I filmed yesterday, which is the decks that I used throughout the month of June and the tarot challenge I participated in and any new decks that came into my collection. Whoa. I tried to speak and my word got stuck in my throat. In June, I partook in Lionheart's, what is it called? The astrology challenge. I'll put a thingy up on the screen so you can see. I can't ever remember what it's called, but basically you're learning about your sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign through daily prompts for the month of June. So I had a lot of help doing this because I have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to most of those signs. So my sun is Aquarius, my rising is Pisces, and my moon is Capricorn. So things that helped me. First of all, I used this book to go through and learn about the signs first. So this one is specifically pertaining to your signs. So for example, let's not do the sun sign. Let's do something different. Let's do the moon sign, because that's where I flipped to first. So the planet of feels, and then it goes through each sign and gives you your own personal thing. So here's my Capricorn moon. Then it has like written prompts for you to do to learn your moon sign. So it goes through all of those. So this was very helpful, very handy, and I used that along with the challenge. So for the sun sign, I went and did the sun sign prompts. For the moon sign, I did the moon sign prompts, and you get the picture. The other thing that also really helped me was the astrology Bible, because I'm not like well versed. So some of the questions would ask, let's just get an example here. So question 26 for day 26, how can I use the strengths of my rising sign to navigate social challenges? So okay, so you pull the cards, great, but now you have to bring in your rising sign to help answer that question. So for me, I would flip to Pisces and I would read about the traits of Pisces and look at the cards that I pulled and see where I could answer that question while mixing those two things together. So that book also really helped. And then I used some cards. So I used the Heavenly Bodies astrology deck. So this one, the cards I just pulled as an example are my sun signs. So I would pull the sun card, so self-express and embody truth, and Aquarius, so through originality, philanthropy, and progressive imagining. So I would kind of study those. Now this deck does not have a rising sign or an ascendant card, so I didn't really use it for that. I really just used it for the sun and moon. So there's that. That's how I used those to help me in this challenge. And then the other deck I used to help me in this challenge is the Numinous Void. No, Numinous, oh my gosh, I don't have the box because it's one of those ones where it's split. Anyway, this deck is really cool. So I would pull out Aquarius and I would pull out Capricorn for my moon sign and Pisces, and then they also have, this deck has an ascendant. So I did use the houses because there was one very large spread that involved a card for each of the houses. So I placed all those out and then I placed my tarot cards on top of it. So then you have your ascendant cards, so that helped. Your moon card and your sun card. I love the imagery on the sun card. So I would just kind of pull these cards as well just to help me. I mean, the keywords are fantastic with this deck. I really liked it. So those were all little helper bees during that challenge. And the deck I used, this was, oh my gosh, the amount of thought I put into what deck I was going to use for this challenge was absolutely ridiculous. I wanted to use a deck that had astrological symbols on it because it was an astrology based challenge. Turns out I didn't really use that. I used it for the first little bit just to kind of see like what cards I pulled and if it was an Aquarius card or if it happened to be a Capricorn card or a Pisces. But I kind of forgot about that, kind of stopped using it. Anyway, the deck I used was the Lillifer Tarot and this little guidebook. Oh, it's just little keywords, but I'm obsessed with it. The keywords are fantastic for a little white book. What I have found though, because I love this book so much and the things that that book says, I'm relying a little too heavily on it. Like I'm constantly wanting to see what the keywords are for each card that I pulled. So I've got to kind of get out of that habit. But this deck was just perfect. It's summery. It's got the summer colors, the summer feels. It's got the astrology symbols, the planetary symbols. It's got all the things you need, the elemental symbols. So this is the deck that I used for that challenge, strictly for the astrology challenge. And I loved it. It was very accurate for the most part. There were some questions that I was confused about, and I think because I was confused about those questions, the cards reflected that when I pulled them. But other than that, very pleased with the Lillifer Tarot and how it helped me throughout that challenge. And then the other thing, just my little notebook. This is where everything went. So this is my tarot notebook. This is the book that I put all my tarot readings in. So everything went in there. So that was a very fun little challenge for the month of June. And as a result of that, I pulled 100 cards for the month of June for my tarot wrapped spreadsheet. So that made June the most pulled card month so far for 2024. With January closely followed. I think I pulled like 94 cards in January. So that's the challenge that I participated in. As far as decks that I used for myself for the month of June, just for like the one-off readings. I mean, I did do a lot of readings with the challenge, but for my moon readings, because it was a full moon, so I didn't use the Intuitive Night Goddess. I only used that one for new moon readings. So moon readings or just like general generic questions that were outside of the tarot challenge, I used Tarot of Persephone's Garden. It seemed like a good June deck. Even though we do hit summer in June, it still is like the spring vibes. So I really just wanted to get to know this deck. I really wanted to work with it and develop a relationship with it and see if it hits or misses, and it went well. I do rather enjoy this deck, and for this deck I bought a special anointing oil. I ordered it off Etsy. I'm on my bed, so like this is like really wobbly. I'm on my bed because all of my things are here and I didn't want to bring everything to my table. I'm making a very dangerous reach. So I ordered a special anointing oil from Etsy. It's from Nature's Treasure. It's a Canadian company. So are you going to enjoy this? Focus. Oop, there we go. I ordered pomegranate oil because pomegranates, and that is Persephone. So I wrote down in my notebook what I guess it's a scent profile. I was going to call it a flavor profile. Nope, we don't eat this. So the scent profile of this pomegranate oil, we have top notes of fresh floral, pomegranate, grape, citrus, strawberry, and lily of the valley. Heart notes of juicy spice, jasmine, rose, lilac, and camphor. And base notes of amber, musk, and powder. So I thought this would be perfect to anoint this deck with. I never even thought to, but I should have looked up Persephone oil, but it didn't come to me till after. Anyway, this one came in and it smells fantastic. Oh my gosh, I wish I could describe how it smells, but I thought it would be a little more tart smelling than what it is. It is incredibly sweet. So I was really hesitant to anoint the deck with it because it wasn't what I had in mind as far as the smell goes for this deck. I am coming around to it. I haven't done it yet, but I am coming around to actually going ahead and doing it because spring is sweet. Spring is very floral. It makes sense to have a floral smell on Persephone's deck, I guess. And this scent lasts, what you put on your skin, it lasts for hours. I will smell it hours later. It is so good. If I remember, I'll put her Etsy link in the description box, but I haven't done it yet, but I am coming around to it. So at first I was like, oh no, I can't do that. The smell doesn't work for the intention that I wanted, but I'm coming around. It'll probably happen. I just needed a few minutes to think it through. And by minutes, I mean days, but like I just want to put this on my skin. It smells so good. Then the other decks I used this month, 2 Oracle decks. We have this little rock pool number. I have not used this. I don't think I've used it all year long. So on a whim, I busted it out. I was like, oh, I'll just see how this goes. So she's shiny, but that's okay. I also edged it this month in a Sharpie, so I went ahead and did that. But this I used with the Tarot of Persephone's Garden, and it did work. It did work really well, but then I had an idea. And I started using it with the Outgrow Yourself. So let's go over here for shadow purposes. This worked so well. I was using Outgrow Yourself, the Oracle words. I wasn't using it as a tarot because I'd already decided to use Persephone's Garden as my tarot. So sharing is caring, tread a little more tenderly. Go to your happy place and be brave, be strong, believe. This worked so well. Hold on, you can do this. He who learns must suffer. What? Calm, rest, stop, and just be. Be patient. Things are set in motion. Come on. The first one that came up, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, it's not really going well. Conserve what you have, save a little. Why do you ask what you already know? Choose the safe harbor for now. Can you accept a new beginning? It's a little different. Be calm and calm will come. Are you wasting your time? Be thankful for what is good now. There are no limits. You are so much more. Count your blessings. So for the cards that I pulled, it went so freaking well. Like I was flabbergasted. I was blown away. Listen and speak with greater care. Harvest and manifest. Speak with care and manifesting. Yeah, I learned that the hard way in the last few months. Rise up, stand stronger and true. Speak free and true. Come on. Come on. More effort will get you what you want. What grows in the shade? Okay, I could do this for hours. So yes, I also edged this one with a Sharpie this month. So I spent time with these 2 decks. I ran out of my Sharpie. It died like not even halfway through. So I had to order another one and wait for it to come in before I finished edging. That was kind of annoying. So I couldn't use it for a few days while I waited for my new Sharpie to come in. But yeah, these decks worked so well together. And I'm so happy because I was kind of nervous about this deck not having a place on my shelf anymore. Like I kind of hadn't really pulled it. And those 2 together, they're like meant to be. So I had a lot of fun with those 2 decks in the month of June. And as far as decks that I got in, decks that I purchased, I got the Pocket Archetypes. The tin is a little bit thicker through than I was expecting. Not a big deal, just thought I'd mention it. I have the big size of this and I just kind of wanted to, I don't know, I haven't been using it and it is kind of big and cumbersome when you're trying to use it. So I've listed it for sale on like Facebook Marketplace or whatever, and this is going to replace it. So I consider that a bit of a wash. My one concern with this is like, that is itty bitty and there's some tiny writing in this book, like the red writing along the spine in the middle there. Oops, if it helps if I'm on camera. It is kind of difficult to read. So your lighting is going to have to be 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 lighting to use this, but I'm okay with it. I think I'll use it more in a more manageable size. So that bad boy came in. Another one that came in is the Sexual Magic Tarot. Oh, sorry, this was 21% off on Amazon, so that was why I bought it. I wouldn't have paid full price for it, but 21% off. This one was 13% off, which really just saved me the taxes because that's our tax rate here in Ontario. So this one had been on the wish list for a while. I don't know how I'm going to use it, except this morning I saw that there was a rather interesting little spread that someone had, I'm selectively going to show some of these, that someone had posted on Instagram. Come on. With this deck, or with a not this deck, but like a spicy, no, can't show that one, with a spicy twist. So, or that one. So I'm gonna use that little spread with this deck and just see how that goes. So yeah, oops, can't show, I almost showed that one, can't show it. There's our cover, our box cover card. I've seen spicier decks. This one is not, nope. This one's not as spicy as some other decks I've seen. So yeah, I figured I would give it a go. It was 13% off, so sure. So that came in, and it had been on it was in my favorites forever in Amazon. So it came in, and then just this morning, a deck came in. I've gone through it, I flipped through it, I think twice. I haven't read with it yet. I'm still keeping it in order because I kind of want to just go through it maybe a few more times and unpack some of the stuff that's in it. But a fellow YouTube creator and I decided to pool our Canadian wallets together to save on shipping. So we finally got smart. And that is the Sistine Tarot deck. Like I said, I just got it this morning, flipped through it several times. This deck, if you want to get your hands on it, you don't have, I don't know when I'm posting this video, but you have till July 4th. If this video is posted after July 4th, I am so sorry. But there's some extra cards, so I'm just pulling those out. Where are we ending with these? Here we go. So, extra cards. First of all, love these backs. Absolutely love them. So you have faith, hope, charity, prudence, and then we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So those are your extra cards. Just won't spend too much time on them. And then we have the rest of them. I love them. Lana Del Rey, like, come on. A deck that has Lana Del Rey in it. Yes, please. So I'm very excited to start working with it and play around with it, play around with the imagery, see what I can unpack, see what I can see. I thought that was She-Ra. When I first saw this deck, I thought it was She-Ra on the horse. I don't think it is. It's just the headdress kind of makes it look a little like She-Ra. 80s babies will know. Cute little ball python on that one. Not so cute snake on that one. But there's a couple walkthroughs on YouTube already. At least one. Oh, no, they're not so cute snake. This one reminds me of, I think it's Lucifer, but it reminds me of Edward Cullen for some reason. So that's this deck. We won't spend too much time. We'll just kind of, I did not get the, what's that called? Gilded. I just got the plain edges. Just because with such a flexible deck, I wasn't really sure about the gilding, how it would hold up. So I got the tuck box, obviously, which I showed earlier, and the non-gilded edges. I love me a tuck box. They store so easily. So very excited to work with this baddie. And I think that's it as far as decks that came in the month of June. Yes, it is. So I'm looking around at my piles of things, and I'm pretty sure that's everything I wanted to talk about. All right. And that's it. That is the month of June. So I'm going to head back outside and enjoy the sun for the first time this whole weekend, and I'll see you guys when I see you.